at the Harbay Studio in Madison, the capital city where the talking cheese is. Cheeseheadtalk.com. How about steroids? How about nobody caring about steroids? We'll get to that in a minute. But first, I want to talk a little bit about Harbay because they're awesome.
They are awesome.
And they're not juiced.
They're not juiced.
They just take all the genuine, flavors from around the state.
Yeah, they have good ingredients, but they're not just throwing juice in their vodka or their rum. I mean, that'd be gross, right?
Yeah.
Do that with the rum and the vodka. That's how you mix it up. But Ben, the point I'm trying to make here is that one of the things we're talking about today is Big Ten expansion, right? Everyone, trepidation. Oh, it's going to water it down. The thing is with Harbay is they keep expanding their line. It just keeps getting better and better, right? That whiskey's coming out. They had the Lehman. I mean, they just keep adding stuff. The Honeycrisp apple brandy they expanded with a couple of years ago, delicious. So Nick knows what he's doing, okay, when it comes to expansion. He's not just saying, come on, Georgia Tech of liquors. Come on, Rutgers. No, he's finding the Notre Dames, the USCs, and he's building them into his Harbay empire for us to enjoy at home and at your favorite establishments around Madison.
Link to it from our site, cheeseheadtalk.com. It's good. It's creative.
Thanks.
www.harbay.com and check it out. It is great. And please ask for them where you go to do your sampling, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
People sample sometimes in a totally different field in the realm of PEDs.
They dabble.
We don't now call them their full name. We call them PEDs because it's just too much effort.
PEDs.
To say, yeah, you're right, to call them PEDs.
It sounds like Pez. Who doesn't love Pez?
I know. They're always fun,
Yeah.
Pez dispensers. But performance-enhancing drugs is the full term.
Thank you, Ben.
And
lest we forget.
Lest we forget.
Yes.
And we've seen all the talk and chatter about it in the world of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
We suspect in other sports, every sport, and nobody's fallen victim to it. Frickin' NASCAR has been talking about how they're going to test for PEDs.
Yeah.
Please. But Tiger Woods, we're all sure, is roiding up a storm.
You are.
Oh, I thought I was everyone. But in baseball, it's been the big central topic. Congressional hearings, superstars falling like flies, blah, blah, blah. We had a local columnist here in Madison, Wisconsin State Journal. Check it out under today's flavors.
Please.
Andy Baggett.
Love him.
Yeah, I do too. Good columnist.
Yeah.
And he wrote about how he wishes the NFL would care more, or fans would care more about football players on PEDs.
Yeah.
And my response is, yeah, I guess in an ideal world we would, but here's the deal. Baseball has had all this controversy. Has it done one thing? Has it turned one fan away from the game? Maybe one, like Josh Thompson in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Won't watch any more baseball.
Well, probably
But
the dad of
no.
that kid who died from steroid use. He probably isn't a big baseball fan anymore. Ben.
Actually, I don't know if you know, a huge Yankees fan. I don't know where that's coming from.
Well, it happens.
Forgave A-Rod.
Yeah, nice.
And Giambi.
Yeah.
Who else?
But the
Clemens.
numbers are up, is what you're saying.
Well, the numbers are up.
Yeah.
And it has not hurt the game.
Right.
And I'm not trying to say, free-for-all, let it go, but it clearly has not had this great effect. Back when this controversy was first erupting and the numbers were becoming clear in the Mitchell report and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
Everyone was saying this is going to turn fans away for a generation. No, it hasn't, and it won't in any other sport.
No.
It's sort of something that the younger generation of fans especially is just accepted, right? And they want testing. I mean, I want testing. I want them to clean it up as much as possible, but I'm not going to stop watching.
Right. Well, it's the whole thing about the numbers and the stats and the legacy of baseball players. And people get kind of creeped out when Brady Anderson is making a run at the single-season home run record and he's like 160 pounds. Whereas in the NFL, nobody knew who, outside of the greater New York area and myself, who had the sack record before Michael Strahan broke it. People probably thought it was Lawrence Taylor, who's been known to do a few performance-enhancing drugs in his own right. But no, it was Mark Gastineau. No one knows about sacks and numbers and stats in the NFL. But I think the reason, Ben, here's the number one reason people don't care as much about performance-enhancing drugs in the NFL is because the NFL takes care of it. Okay? Brian Cushing, you are defending Rookie of the Year. We found a fertility drug in your system. We're going to suspend you for 4 games. It's not like baseball where there was the hand-wringing and what are we going to do with these performance-enhancing drugs? We'll do a private trial for a year and see what the percentages are. And then if the percentages are a certain number, then we'll implement an anonymous sort of suspension. And then if that works out, then we're going to actually expand that and out players. NFL's like, hey, 1989, what's going on? Why don't we make some things happen here on steroids? Lyle Alzato's dying from brain cancer. Okay, so then they just start suspending people, and that's why no one cares. It's a serious suspension. It's a quarter of the season, and it's taken care of right there. And people don't appeal it. They do appeal it, but it gets dealt with swiftly. Players are suspended, and then you move on with your business.
Well, it's that.
No.
It's the fact that people generally accept that football players are a little bigger, a little stronger, a little faster. I mean, I don't really buy that argument on its. You could take apart that argument, but their general perception is these guys are flying around and they're geeked up anyway.
No.
And it doesn't seem to bother them. And plus, like you said, it's not a stat conscious thing. No. The only thing, as far as baseball is concerned, that's really spurring the controversy here is it turns out what it's all boiled down to. I mean, I understand the argument about how you don't want to set the example for kids, and I totally agree. That's why the biggest reason in my mind why it must be enforced, which baseball is starting to do. But the other thing in that is the stats, the Barry Bonds factor, the McGuire factor, that you have to either put an asterisk on the record book or in your head behind the records because they're fake. They're fraud. But it's not going to stop me from watching the game.
Well, then it's all the leaks, like the Fanaru Wados and all the guys that are finding, the fact that A-Rod did steroids back in 2004 and was one of the 5%. Which, if that's anonymous, players should not be outed for that because that was never designed as a punishment. But that's what people get upset about as well. Yeah. Oh, A-Rod was on steroids in 2004. Well, those, like you said, those numbers shouldn't count. But in the NFL, if Joe Montana were to come out today and say, yes, I was on steroids for the majority of my NFL career, people would probably pay more attention. But that didn't happen. Or if it did happen, no one knows about it. He's not going to say anything because we're in test back then. So that's the whole thing. But, I'm not going to be irate if Brian Cushing is found guilty of taking a fertility drug. I mean, who knows? Maybe he's trying to start a family, Ben. You don't know what's going on.
Well, the problem is there's a female fertility drug.
Well, perhaps he has bad acne. You never know how these drugs work and some of the off-label uses, right? I mean, that's how it happens. These doctors, they're cavaliers out there. But if they say, Brian Cushing, you've been suspended 4 games, to me it's been dealt with. That's all I need to worry about. Yeah, well, I'm kind of in the same boat. It is what it is. Guys are going to get caught. Guys are going to try and gain an advantage. I'm so over or desensitized, I guess would be the correct way to say it. That I mean, it is what it is. You fans have started to sort of assume that everybody is. And when we say everybody, I mean I know it's not like I don't think Craig Counsell has tried, but everybody basically is been exposed or tried or whatever, and now they've got some enforcement, and let's just move on. We're so. Again, it's just overkill, and it goes into the NFL. Well, here's what you have. I mean, people aren't going to even in baseball. A-Rod is basically forgiven, and he's a loopy guy anyway. Yeah, but he's basically forgiven because he half-heartedly admitted it, sat in front of reporters for an hour, and then he had a great season. So, whatever. He roided okay. He's not the most hated man in baseball, really. I mean, I think Clemens really, because he's so denied. But you almost feel sorry for Clemens. No, yeah.
Well, for his own stupidity. It's for his own defiance over it.
I stopped feeling sorry for stupid people a long time ago. There's just, I mean, you end up feeling sorry for people all day long, Ben.
I guess you would.
Sad. I think Jared Allen's on roids, though. I'll put that out there right now.
Yeah.
That guy's crazy.
Yeah, let's just put it out there.
Maybe someone will pick that up.
Reports from Madison. We're the Talking Cheeseheads. And, we'll just go on accusing all day. Cheeseheadtalk.com.